You know that feeling when you just know she's thinking about you? It's a quiet, almost electric awareness that something is happening in her mind, something she's not ready to express. You sense it in your chest, a pull, a tug, as if some invisible thread connects your thoughts to hers, even when the phone remains silent. She wants to reach out. You can almost imagine her typing your name, forming words, pausing, deleting them, and rewriting the message again. Each keystroke is a small battle, a war between desire and restraint. And then, just as quickly, she disappears into silence, leaving you in a limbo of wondering and waiting. You fight the urge to check your phone again, to break the quiet with your own message, questioning why she won't just say what's still on her mind. But it isn't because she doesn't think of you, and it certainly isn't because she's moved on. Reaching out means vulnerability, admitting feelings that she has buried under layers of pride, fear, and overthinking. She's not ready for that confrontation, not yet. Every hesitation, every pause, every deleted message is a testament to the emotional complexity she's wrestling with, a mixture of longing, uncertainty, and self-protection. Her silence isn't emptiness. It's a reflection of the internal storm raging quietly, a storm you sense even when no words appear on your screen. And while you sit there, caught between hope and restraint, it's crucial to understand that her silence is not rejection. It's hesitation, reflection, and perhaps the quietest form of connection she can give. She wants to text you, she truly does. But right now, she's waiting for the courage to face what she knows she can't ignore any longer, the truth of her own feelings. Every woman who has ever loved deeply experiences a silent war between her heart and her pride, and she's right in the middle of it. Her heart remembers you in ways she can't fully explain, the sound of your voice when she was upset, the warmth in your tone, the way you made her feel safe even when the world felt heavy. Those memories pull at her constantly, whispering that she still wants to reach out, that a part of her misses the connection you once shared. But pride is a far stronger force than most people realize, and it builds walls that even longing cannot easily break down. She replays arguments in her head, recalls moments of tension, recalls that last cold goodbye, and tells herself she doesn't need you. Pride convinces her that reaching out would make her vulnerable, that admitting she still feels something is a weakness. And so she hesitates. Each time her finger hovers over the keyboard, pride whispers, "Don't do it. He'll think you're weak." So she stops herself, even though every part of her wants to send that message. It's not that she doesn't care, it's that her emotional survival depends on maintaining this delicate balance between desire and self-protection. Pride doesn't heal the heart, it only masks the longing, delays the inevitable confrontation with the truth. Deep down, she knows she still feels something, and admitting it terrifies her. It's a war of internal forces, one pushing her toward connection, one holding her back in fear of vulnerability, and in that struggle, every unsent text becomes a silent testament to the complexity of her emotions, her fear of being seen as weak, and the undeniable truth that she is not yet ready to face what her heart truly wants. She's testing the boundaries, observing, and seeing what your reaction, or lack thereof, reveals. If you truly care, she thinks, you'll reach out. You'll fight for me. She wants to see if you will break the silence first, to measure your level of attachment, your patience, and your ability to hold steady. In her mind, this is a way to gauge whether the connection still holds any weight, a silent form of measuring loyalty and care. But what she doesn't fully understand is that your calm, quiet presence actually amplifies your appeal. Women subconsciously test masculine energy by watching how men respond to absence and distance. Do you chase desperately? Do you plead or over-explain? Or do you stand firm, grounded, unshaken, confident without having to control the situation? That quiet strength speaks louder than any message she could ever receive. When you remain calm, you signal that your life is whole and your sense of self isn't dependent on her response. Ironically, it's this very stillness that begins to pull her back toward you, because it disrupts her assumptions and challenges her need to manipulate the dynamic. She realizes that your silence is not a vacuum, it's a reflection of inner confidence, of emotional maturity, and of someone who values himself and his boundaries. Her experiment starts to backfire subtly. The more she observes your stillness, the more she questions her own strategy. Each day, each unbroken moment of quiet, is a silent nudge, a force gently coaxing her to reconsider her hesitation and the true depth of her feelings for you. Breakups and separations force both people to rewrite the story they tell themselves, and she is no exception. After you part ways, her mind becomes a theater where she edits memories, alters narratives, and reconstructs reasons to protect herself from pain. At first, she tells herself a story designed to shield her heart: he didn't care enough. It wasn't meant to be. I'm better off without him. This internal narrative serves as a balm, a way to maintain dignity and convince herself that moving on is the right choice. But memories have a way of creeping in unexpectedly. A song on the radio, a scent in the air, a familiar street corner. Suddenly, the carefully constructed story begins to fracture. She starts questioning her own conclusions. Was it really all his fault? Did I overreact? Could things have been different if I tried harder? These cracks make her hesitate, because texting you would force her to confront these doubts, to admit that the story she created to protect herself may not be the truth at all. Silence becomes her shield, a way to preserve her fragile sense of healing while she works through conflicting emotions privately. Each unsent message is a reflection of the internal struggle between acknowledging the past and protecting herself from the vulnerability that comes with reaching out. She rewrites her story over and over, trying to make sense of her feelings without exposing them to you. She's trapped between honesty and self-preservation, and in that space, her silence feels safer than the risk of reopening emotional wounds. And yet, every thought, seeing you calm, composed, and seemingly unbothered unsettles her more than she would ever admit. After a breakup, many women expect men to spiral, to chase desperately, plead, or display obvious signs of longing. They imagine you overwhelmed by loss, posting emotional messages, or letting the world know how much you miss her. But when she sees that you remain steady, confident, and focused on your life, it triggers a different, more complicated kind of fear. She starts to wonder if you've moved on completely, if you've evolved into a version of yourself that no longer has space for her. That fear can cut deeper than sadness or anger because it challenges her sense of control. She begins to question her assumptions. Has she lost you for good? Has the man she loved grown into someone she no longer deserves? Your calmness becomes a mirror, reflecting back the reality that her absence hasn't shaken you, and that realization unsettles her. It makes her confront uncomfortable truths about the dynamic between you, truths she isn't ready to face. She feared that you would be lost without her, that she had power over your emotions, but now she sees that life moves on regardless. The transformation in you, the quiet strength, the focus on growth, it all presents a contrast to her own state of being. She may not reach out because acknowledging these feelings would force her to admit vulnerability, fear, and perhaps regret. She's afraid to discover that while she's stuck replaying the past, you've evolved into someone who can thrive without her dependence. That fear of losing you entirely, fear of being left behind, is often the invisible reason her messages remain unsent, hidden in the quiet spaces where longing and her friends can often be the loudest voices in her head, shaping her decisions more than she realizes. After a breakup, advice from friends feels like guidance, but it's rarely impartial. She may hesitate to text you because someone said, "Don't text him first. Let him chase. He doesn't deserve you." On the surface, that advice can sound empowering, like a mantra for self-respect. But more often than not, it's filtered through the experiences, frustrations, and bitterness of friends who are projecting their own pain or insecurities. Suddenly, her internal conflict is no longer just about her feelings for you, it becomes about her image in front of her social circle. Reaching out would mean showing vulnerability, admitting that she still cares, and that might feel like weakness in the eyes of those she values. She doesn't want to be judged or criticized, even indirectly, so silence feels safer. Every unsent message, every pause before opening her phone, is influenced by the echoes of these outside voices. Her friends unintentionally turn her emotional struggle into a subtle competition, where not texting first becomes a badge of strength rather than an honest reflection of her feelings. She convinces herself that maintaining distance is necessary, not just for pride, but to prove she can resist the pull of emotions in a world that constantly pressures her to appear invulnerable. Yet, deep down, every piece of advice she's received clashes with the truth of her heart. She wants to reach out, to reconnect, to feel again, but the fear of judgment, the pressure to appear strong, and the advice echoing in her mind keep her rooted in silence. Her friends, after a breakup, a woman often constructs a fantasy in her mind to survive the pain, a version of her life that makes the separation seem easier to bear. She convinces herself that she's better off, that she's happier, freer, and more independent without you. Maybe she imagines a new relationship, one that fills the void she feels. Maybe she pictures a life full of excitement, validation, and attention from others. On the surface, it appears as though she's moved on, thriving in a chapter of life that doesn't include you. But fantasies have a fragile nature. They are built on perception, not reality, and eventually cracks start to appear. The attention of someone new might feel hollow because it doesn't carry the weight of the connection she had with you. She laughs, she socializes, she posts her confidence, but something in her still misses the authenticity of your presence. The reality is that no substitute can completely replicate the moments, conversations, and intimacy you once shared. Until this fantasy fades, she won't reach out. Admitting she misses you would mean acknowledging that her carefully constructed narrative was not entirely true, that her new chapter isn't the upgrade she imagined. That would be a direct confrontation with her own vulnerability, and she isn't ready for it yet. Silence, therefore, becomes a protective barrier, a way to maintain control while navigating the tension between longing and self-deception. Each day, she tests the boundaries of this illusion, hoping it will numb her feelings, even as the cracks grow larger. Deep down, she knows that her fantasy can't replace what she lost, but until the truth becomes undeniable, she remains in the safety of avoidance, hiding the intensity of her emotions behind a mask that the world. She's still waiting for you to break the silence, even if she doesn't fully admit it to herself. In her mind, this is a subtle game of power, where reaching out first would feel like surrender, a concession that she's still attached and vulnerable. She tells herself, if he texts first, it proves I still matter. If I do, it feels like giving in. Ironically, the person who loved more deeply is now forced to act colder, to maintain a sense of control that she believes preserves her dignity. Each day she battles her instincts, each night she types a message only to delete it again, and every morning she wakes with the same tension, weighing the cost of admitting that she still wants connection. What she doesn't realize is that your silence is a message far more powerful than any words could convey. By not chasing, not pleading, not reacting impulsively, you communicate a quiet, grounded confidence, an inner peace that she can't manipulate or provoke. Your calmness interrupts the cycle of control she has relied on, subtly challenging her assumptions about your attachment and your emotional state. Silence, in this context, doesn't signify indifference, it signifies acceptance, strength, and self-sufficiency. It forces her to confront her own feelings without the crutch of immediate reaction. She begins to question everything, why she ever let you go, why she hesitated, and why the connection she thought she controlled feels suddenly fragile and uncertain. That quiet tension, the pull between her pride and her heart, starts to erode the walls she built around herself. She's waiting for a move that may never come, not realizing that your stillness is exactly what compels her to reconsider, to reassess, and ultimately, to recognize the depth of what she's been avoiding, her undeniable longing for you. Ultimately, she's not ready to be vulnerable yet. Texting you isn't just sending words, it's opening a door to feelings she has carefully tried to lock away. Each message would stir memories, old wounds, and emotions she's been suppressing, and she isn't ready to face that flood of intensity. She has built walls to protect herself from the pain that still lingers beneath her surface, and admitting she misses you would mean tearing down those walls, even if just for a moment. Avoidance feels safer, even if it's silently painful, because it allows her to maintain control over her emotions while she navigates the storm inside. Every unsent text, every hesitation, is a reflection of this struggle, the conflict between what she truly feels and what she thinks she should feel to appear strong and composed. But while she hides behind avoidance, your calm, rounded presence begins to shift the dynamic in ways she cannot ignore. Your silence is not emptiness, it is a reflection of your strength, your focus, and your ability to live fully without seeking validation from her. It communicates more than words ever could. I am whole, I am steady, I am not defined by your distance. That quiet confidence pulls her in subtly yet irresistibly, making her question everything she thought she knew about the situation. She wonders if you've truly moved on, if you are still capable of feeling, if the connection she tried to suppress still exists. Your calm is not passive, it is magnetic, and it forces her to confront her own pride, fear, and longing. In the end, the woman who hesitates, who tests, who rewrites, and who fears, is drawn not by chasing but by the unwavering reflection of your strength, the man she cannot forget because he never begged, never chased, and never lost himself.